So, welcome back to the Web3 Insights. I'm your host, Aaron Hayhurst, and today we're joined by Mant Hawkins, who is a core contributor at Andromeda Protocol. Firstly, just want to say Happy New Year. This is the second episode of the new year, and what a year that we've got in store. A bit about Andromeda Protocol. With a mission to democratize Web3, Andromeda Protocol is at the forefront of blockchain innovation, introducing technologies like its AI program, open source onboarding platform, and advanced tokenomics model. Today, we're going to explore how these features are transforming the blockchain ecosystem and enabling scalable, decentralized solutions for developers and enterprises. So let's dive straight in. Mant, thank you so much for coming on.
Aaron, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be here and be able to talk about Andromeda and all the things that are going on. So thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure. Mant, can you start by sharing a bit about your journey into blockchain and how Andromeda Protocol came to be? Also keen to understand what inspired the creation of such a comprehensive operating system.
Sure. So I have a really interesting background on how I got here, but it all makes sense to me. Of course, that's the trick, right?
Yeah.
I'm a retired Marine Corps F-18 pilot.
Amazing.
I was lucky enough to be in the first F-18 squadron in the world, and that technology that I had at my fingertips and at my feet was very unique. It was unique to the United States of America. It was unique, certainly, to our ground forces and the fighter community. Fortunately, I very quickly was thrown into the fire and was flying with 27 different sensors, AI technology, the commercial equivalent of IoT technology, different sensors, and all integrated into one operating system, which is going to be
Nice.
a theme here.
Yeah.
I became a Top Gun instructor, so I taught that system to other fighter pilots around the world, and later in my career led large organizations. So I became an operational specialist and leadership specialist, but also a product market fit, a product, a delivery, distribution kind of thinker, which really the Marine Corps, in the officer corps, certainly teaches you to be an entrepreneur, but we never use that word. We just understand the pieces of entrepreneurship because we travel around the world trying to solve problems, which is the key to being an entrepreneur. So as a background in my government life, I transitioned to the private sector and started in real estate.
Nice.
And when I first got into blockchain, I was a CEO of a commercial real estate company that was using a tech stack of IoT and artificial intelligence, very primitive artificial intelligence at that time, and needed blockchain so that it was immutable, and banks and investors could see that we weren't jury-rigging the financial documents. That what we were doing was really pretty extraordinary and disruptive to the entire commercial real estate industry. I met one of our co-founders in 2016. I discovered blockchain in about 15. Luckily found Cody Marks Bailey in 16. We did a project for a private equity firm in 2017 to tokenize real-world assets. This is back in the Ethereum days. He was kind of the Ethereum poster child. That didn't work out. He went off to look for better technology. I went off to New York to tokenize and fractionalize the entire real estate development process, all the way through skyscraper ownership and tenants. Then we reconnected when he found the new technology and formed Andromeda around his idea. And this is the real key here. The problem that he wanted to solve was to make things easier for developers and to reward developers for what they do. The open source community has really depended upon hard work from developers to either work for free or donations and charity. And we wanted to build, and here's the real special sauce to Andromeda, is we're the first operating system in the history of computer science to embed economics in the actual operating system itself, which is pretty phenomenal, which makes it really hard to explain. I mean, you've read our tokenomics paper and our white paper, and they're detailed, and there's a lot to it. And it's layers and layers and layers upon technology and thinking that have gone into building a completely new open source model for economic discovery. And that, those are fancy words for a developer gets paid, and he can get paid very quickly. And the more unique and creative things that he builds, the better. So that's how I got there. It's kind of a long way of getting there, and a really interesting background of other things that went on with, DAO development. I was the first person to really create a DAO before even Bitcoin came on the scene. Created DAO. We didn't call it a DAO back then, but I was an advisor for a four-star general in charge of all the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he asked me to go find and collect the smartest people in the world to help President Bush, 43, think. So I built a DAO of 800 of the smartest people in the world to answer any question and solve any problem for the President of the United States. And they worked for free, and it was open source, and there was really very little curation except I had to go see them. They wouldn't work on email. They wouldn't work on the phone. They wouldn't work face-to-face, which was really interesting. So I spent a lot of time on the road, traveling around the world. So
for sure,
this open source distributed model, I was doing distributed and decentralized operations when Cody Marks Bailey was still in diapers.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this decentralized distributed business for a long time. So all the way up to the national security level. So it's a really varied, interesting background that really helped our technologists see beyond great technology. There's more to it by building an operating system that really can, what I call, bend the frame of the universe, have a long-lasting effect on the world.
Sure. Well, what an amazing journey.
Yeah.
Up to where you are now. And thanks for your services as well. You mentioned in there about the white paper. The white paper obviously outlines significant barriers in Web3 adoption.
Yep.
How does Andromeda's operating system address these challenges and enhance user experience across the ecosystems?
Well, from the beginning, Andromeda, we've had a vision to make Web3 easier, not only for the developer, as I mentioned earlier, but also for the user. Businesses need to be able to understand something very quickly to understand, the so what. So what that you have all this great technology? So what that you have 6 abstraction layers in the tokenomics model? So what that you have this? So what does it do? So what we're trying to do is make that so what easier to understand. And our technologists will talk for hours and hours and hours about how cool that technology is that does that. But the bottom line here is we're trying to make it simpler, the user interface and the user experience, to very quickly come in and enjoy the entire Web3 experiences and advantages with a simple platform that overlays many blockchains. So if you think about operating systems, computers were really hard, and really from the inventor and the hobbyist standpoint, all the way back to the 40s and 50s, and the evolution of operating systems, both the ones that have failed and the ones that succeeded, have tried to make it easier to understand, to be able to use different applications and improve their skills. Steve Jobs said that computers are bicycles for the mind, right? So what we're trying to do is make airplanes for the minds. Web3 is make it much easier to use all the advantages of Web3 with one single platform. So you don't have to learn every L1 that you go to. You don't have to learn a new system. You can just use one system, one set of tools, and build very quickly and use your creative mind on the building, not the understanding how it works.
Yeah, amazing. One of your key innovations is the Andromeda AI program. How is AI integrated into your protocol, and what sort of unique value does it bring to blockchain applications in particular as well?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because AI is moving so fast right now.
Very fast.
I spent a lot of time watching AI develop back even in my fighter pilot days. All the way through my commercial real estate. And finally now it's made it to Web3, and it's really disrupting Web3 itself. So the Andromeda AI program, we're really rolling that out as a marquee event in our, what we're calling the open source onboarding platform. So this is a layer that sits on top of our AOS, not covered in our tokenomics paper because AI has come on board so quickly recently. It sits on top of our AOS and allows developers to very quickly come in to, if you can think of it as a marketing funnel, but they can come into this platform very quickly and see where they fit and how quickly they can make money from what they do. So it's whether it's to be part of a contract bid or part of an Andromeda digital object creation, ADO creation, where you can get paid for building ADOs to get used, or any other different thing. There are AI groups coming to us right now wanting to help Byron, who's really the chief of AI in Andromeda, develop our AI system. So that it's really maybe 3 components. One is our engineers are already using AI. I started talking about AI in Andromeda back in 21, 22, but AI wasn't ready yet for what it can do now. So our coders are able to use AI now to make what they're doing quicker.
Yeah.
The second piece is we're using AI to make it this big monster AOS system more understandable for a developer to figure out, what does this mean to me? What's the so what? How can I come in very quickly if I'm a 13-year-old kid in Indonesia? How can I come into the Andromeda system and get paid?
Yeah.
Or I'm a company on Wall Street, which we're talking to right now, and we'll get to that later. A company right now can come into that same system and see what's available for their developers or see the so what for their business. So there's an AI integration down at the developer level and at the business model level. Is that very quickly integrating AI into the actual delivery and distribution system. There's three key components to any business as a startup. There's the product, there's the distribution model, and there's product market fit. And what this is really trying to enhance, our AI capability is enhance the speed of how quickly a developer goes from zero to paid.
Interesting. That's awesome. AI is going to have a huge impact for a lot of businesses this year and across multiple industries as well.
So
your open source onboarding platform seems pivotal as well for user adoption. Can you explain how it works and how it simplifies onboarding for developers and enterprises in Web3?
So this OOP, and I'm glad we came back to this because I wanted to add a little bit about it. This OOP is really a breakthrough innovation on top of this extraordinary AOS system. And what that is again, it's a platform. And this is what I believe is we call ourselves Andromeda Protocol. Protocols are accepted standards within an industry, right? So before you're an accepted industry standard as a protocol, you need to be a platform first, that people come in and see how it works. And the more it's used and the more it's accepted as, yep, I like that system, it becomes a protocol. Before that, there's product market fit. And before that, there's product to user fit. So this OOP, this onboarding platform is designed to make the product to user fit happen very quickly so that there's product market fit, so it becomes a platform, it becomes a protocol. And how it does that is a developer would come in and click and see how to onboard and understand all the documentation very quickly, AI enhanced, so they don't have to read 100 pages of documentation. They can get to the bottom line real quick and they can click through it. If they're an experienced developer, they don't need to read a lot of the how does this work. If they're a newbie, they may need a lot more time to understand AOS, but it's designed to enhance the user experience to get to the AOS economic model sooner. The idea here is that if you look at an L1, I like the Electric Capital's report that breaks down developers that are full-time and part-time users, and you can see that the majority of most L1s, their developers are part-time. Well, we're going to take advantage of those part-time users by offering them a platform that can very quickly come in and see the standard. So they don't have to learn Solana, or they don't have to learn this L1 or that L1 or that L1. They can come into one platform and focus their energy on building and creating. And it fits not just one L1, it fits all of the integrations of L1 that we have. That's the key to an operating system. If you think of blockchains like your laptop, computer, or our desktop, L1s are the computer space.
Yeah.
So you now lay this operating system across all those computers, all those L1s, and now a developer has access to all of those. That's where we get into network effects, Metcalfe's law and Reed's law, and that's where it gets really exciting. Is that now you or I can build something and compose off of multiple L1s and sell to multiple L1s. And it's like the AT&T network. The guy that sold the first telephone was a genius because there's nobody to call, right? The second one got easier, and now AT&T's, all the big telecoms. So that's the network effect. The more people that join the network, or the more people that use our AOS, the more powerful it becomes. And the technology is less and less important the more and more people that are on the network.
Yeah, 100%. Cross-chain interoperability obviously is becoming, I think, it's incredibly key in this space at the moment to be able to drive mass adoption. And, with Andromeda emphasizing cross-chain capabilities, how does your protocol ensure seamless communication and integration across multiple blockchains?
Two real easy ways. I mean, the tech guys will talk to you about this for hours. I'm going to make it simple for the audience here. There's two pieces. One, we're the Cosmos ecosystem. So the Cosmos SDK is the platform tech standard in our ecosystem. So being able to integrate in the Cosmos SDK is critical piece one. It allows that communication and that common standard in the tech stack. Two is we have what we call AMP, the Andromeda Messaging Protocol. So it enhances the ability to communicate through the Cosmos SDK to other L1s. And then, of course, IBC is the real key to this. Is that now you can move tokens around pretty easily. Most L1s can move tokens around, but the ability to move smart contract functionality, that's our real special sauce with this communication, is that you can move or you can pick up smart contract functionality. And the way we do that is each L1 chain that we're integrated with, that we're integrated on 12 right now, each L1 chain has our Andromeda logic library. So all of our ADOs are on each one of those L1 chains. So now it's a lightweight call to each L1, communications lightweight call to activate that smart contract logic. So now as you build a Lego block of what we call ADOs, those Andromeda digital objects, as you build those Legos and you stack them in different ways, you're able to call across different L1 chains to create an app by stacked ADOs. And that's the real powerful thing there is composition. As Chris Dixon at A16Z says, in Web3, composability is what compound interest was to the finance world. It's exponential. So the ability to compose multiple ADOs into multiple apps is really extraordinary.
For sure. Awesome stuff. Can you share examples of businesses or developers that are successfully leveraging Andromeda's tools and an onboarding platform?
Yeah, so we have, so far, again, so we've got 10, 12 chains, but when you look at it using Andromeda's AOS, I think our late 2024 summary had 1,900 ADOs have been used and developed 460 apps. And again, because we're an operating system, it's not just one chain. It's not just one developer. It's a network effect. Excuse me. It's a network effect of multiple chains and multiple developers building these ADOs and apps or using these ADOs and apps. One thing that we're not ready to announce yet, but if we're talking to a really established real-world asset financial products company that is an established 30 family-owned business that does certificates of deposits on Wall Street, and they want to transition from the old hard way of Web2 TradFi into Web3, and they've chosen us as the vehicle to do that. And our ADOs are exactly what they need to do the kinds of things that are already being done the hard way on Wall Street. Much like I saw in commercial real estate, there was a lot of really, really slow, painful processes that took a lot of brain damage work.
I can imagine.
To get there. Yeah, by having a simple ADO do things that humans spend hours doing, they can do very quickly by stacking an app. The idea behind, the idea behind this business is to start off U.S. only with this certificate as deposit CDs on Wall Street, prove the concept, expand internationally, and then after that's proven, move on to other tokenized objects, financial products. So this guy has real vision. Once we close that deal, we'll be really excited to talk about it because we see this as the future of answering the so what.
Yeah.
Web3, we have friends inside the company that call Web3 monkeys throwing peanuts at each other. Well, to get out of the monkeys throwing peanuts at each other, and that's kind of a derogatory term, but it's fun too to think about it.
Yeah, of course.
To get this into real world business that are doing real things, not only within the Web3 community, but also within the real world, the business world community, it takes something as breakthrough as AOS and ADOs to really answer the so what question for business. Because businesses are afraid of it. They need something that they can understand.
Yeah.
And they won't read a tokenomics paper. They won't read most business people won't read all the white paper, tokenomics paper, and try to understand all the tech stuff. It's just like your phone.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how it works. It just works.
Exactly. It just works, and it does what you need it to do.
That's right.
Exactly. No, and that's super key to driving mass adoption, right? Is making it simpler for people to understand and to use it. Looking at the tokenomics, your white paper details an innovative tokenomics model that leverages ANDR tokens to secure the Andromeda blockchain and power its operating system. Could you elaborate on how this model captures value across multiple blockchains?
So because the operating system is the first ever to do this, the tokenomics model is the operating system. The operating system is the tokenomics model. It's really this merge that I mentioned before. It's the first economic operating system ever in the history of computer science. So there are multiple layers that would be called upon to reward developers for what they do. And the idea behind it is to be open enough with the evolution, this adoption and the product market fit, and then uses for whether it's real world or DeFi or other aspects of Web3 to maximize utility value for each user. So we don't know yet what developers are going to create for ADOs to solve their problems. The system isn't designed for us to be smarter than the billions of potential users out there. Our people come in and build things, and our job is to make sure that we have enough capability, abstract layers, from 0 to 6, whether it starts off with basic AOS functionality, AOS functionality, all the way up to different aspects through the abstract layers to capture that value, which is really, it's extraordinary. Not all of those abstract layers are activated yet, but once we see where the demand is, it gives us the agility to move in that direction by turning on and off different parts of the tokenomics plan within the operating system. So it's not an easy concept for most to digest, but here's a simplified. I'm a retired Marine, so I've got to make it simple here. The Marines are jelly donut or kick in the knee. Which one is it? So the simple part is, depending upon what the user is doing, we think we've captured all the ways that developers might use our AOS to build something that matters, the so what. And what we're anxious to do is see more and more users, which is what the OOP is all about, is bring in more than just 20 or 30 or 40 developers. It's to bring in a large group of developers so that we see more ideas and more functionality executed by these different stacks of ADOs and how they're used, so that we can maximize economic value to the developer, but also to whoever they're delivering value to.
Yeah, for sure. The multi-layer abstraction approach that you mentioned in there that you use for tokenomics is fascinating. How does this enhance scalability and resilience for projects built on Andromeda?
So hidden within what I just said is really the answer to that.
Yeah.
AOS is designed to be used at scale by just laying on top of different L1s. So there's a scale factor there. That's part of our delivery.
Sure.
Product delivery, product market fit. Part of our delivery strategy is to integrate with as many L1s as possible so that we have as many developers using the AOS to build things. The second piece is, as they build things, depending upon the uniqueness of what they build, it triggers different aspects or different abstract layers to deliver value and capture value for not only the platform and the protocol, but also for the developer itself. And it gives us the opportunity for the developers that are coming in to do something like build an ADO that's unique to reward them for their actions. So the scale of this is, one, make it easy, and then two, where's the money? It's like the Jerry Maguire movie. Show me the money. A developer is really only interested in, show me the money.
Mm-hmm.
I want to work on something that's really cool using cool tools, but it doesn't work if I can't be rewarded for that. I'll go look for somebody else to pay me. So this is a way, the scale question, a way for developer to come in and work, and also, no matter how many developers are, come in and get paid for what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. What were the biggest challenges that you faced in designing this tokenomic system? I'm keen to understand as well how that positioned you for long-term success, especially in a competitive ecosystem.
Sure. So startups are hard to begin with. There's nothing easy about a good startup. I like to kid, there are startups that are people selling pizza on a college campus, pizza and beer, and that's hard. But it's not nearly as hard as creating something as new as the first economic operating system. So some of the challenges are there was no one to look to see how they did it. This is completely new. So this is like an artist painting a picture, or someone writing a song, or an architect building a building. Is that you're doing it for the first time with tools that are already out there. You're putting them together in a unique way. Well, then writing about how the so what is to that unique creation, the economic piece of this. So it takes really smart tech folks, but it takes extraordinarily smart business people to put it all together into one package, because the tech alone won't do it. You've got to have delivery and distribution, and then you've got to manage what's actually happening. Now, using the DAO to do that, eventually the DAO will make some of those decisions, but early on, like all startups, it starts off with the founder, the business team, and the tech team working together. We should call ourselves a basketball team when we were talking to investors. Like I said, I was doing decentralized work when one of our founders was in a diaper. The other was still, trying to figure out how to ride a bicycle. So there's lots of expertise that's required to bring together a very smart tech system into something that matters economically, not only to businesses, but to Aaron or that 13-year-old young man in Indonesia. So
For sure.
newness is the biggest challenge. And then trying to find the second piece, not only in the design, but the execution. The second piece is that product to market fit. So product to user fit, then product to market fit, and then making it good enough and making adjustments and learning from what's happening so that it becomes a platform and then a protocol.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication.
Yeah, I can imagine. Looking ahead, the protocol obviously promises, to unlock scalable business models for Web3. How do you envision Andromeda evolving, not just over the next year, but the next 5 years, particularly in supporting developers and enterprises?
Right. So I think this OOP, the open source onboarding platform, will be key to opening the door to this unifying layer that sits on top of L1s. That adoption and that virality, as more and more people pass the word that, hey, this is an easy way to get paid for what you do. We don't have to depend on foundations with charity and strategic investors. This engine actually works for us, the developer. So there'll be a maturation of that process. Two, this real world asset tokenization. That's going to be the real magic that is I think it's our breakthrough moment, is that the so what gets answered from someone on Wall Street, and the word passes around Wall Street that it isn't monkeys throwing peanuts at monkeys. It's something that solves a problem that is already established, and there's already somebody doing it now the hard way, and we're able to show them the easy way to do it. So the maturation of real world asset tokenization that travels not just starting in the US, but travels around the world after that. That's a good 5-year window. More and more financial products. Wall Street's talking about it now. Industry talking about it right now. This maturation of what is a digital asset and what can you do with it? How do you go from parking your car in the parking lot, getting out of your car, walking into a bank, filling out a deposit slip, giving them some money with the deposit slip, getting the deposit slip back, then walking back out to your car and then driving home to online banking? That maturation of, you have to go through ATMs, you have to go through clunky online banking to what we got with our phones right now for phone online banking. The same thing's going to happen with AOS, is that as more and more adoption occurs and we get more and more users, we get more and more feedback, and we're able to modify the business model and the tokenomics model and those key abstract layers for the tokenomics rewards, we'll start to now understand where the market is heading. We started in 21. In 21, NFTs were kind of a play toy. It was rainbow unicorns and unshaven apes, and now NFTs have found other uses that really are teaching the world about the technology. Meme coins. A lot of folks on the team look down on team meme coins, but really, having been in the technology business for a very long time, longer than anybody else on the team, I see this as just one more step towards technology adoption.
Yeah, 100%.
Nothing's a straight line, right? It goes up and down, back and forth, back and forth. So we're in that growth phase where we're learning to grow with the market and answer the so what of the market, whether it's the Web3 peanut throwing or it's the real world assets trying to tokenize something that's already established and needed in the
No, absolutely. Very quickly, community, of course, plays a key role in Web3. Just looking ahead at this year, are there any sort of exciting initiatives or partnerships that you're most excited about?
Yes, there are. And back to this OOP. This OOP is a rebuild of our community. We launched in 2023, and we had a trader community that came to us right away. What we're really excited about is taking that trader community and expanded it further with the OOP to a developer strong community, where the majority are large developer groups or open source developers that come in and fill in the OOP funnel to make money, to build and create. The other thing is, because we're an operating system that sits on top of L1s, every L1 that we integrate with is a partner. It's an alliance. It's a part of our ecosystem. So as we move, whether it's Osmosis or Thorchain or Neutron, or we expand to other ecosystems like Avalanche through our Landslide partner, we're excited about the expansion, this delivery model of L1 integration and OOP developers coming in to use our operating system to create network effects across those L1s. So we're very excited about the future.
No, absolutely. A year of growth and a year of expansion for sure then.
And learning. We'll learn a lot.
And learning. Always learning.
Always learning.
Fantastic. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. Thanks for sharing your insights and expertise, providing us with an in-depth look at Andromeda Protocol, from obviously tokenomics to interoperability. There's a huge amount that we unpacked there. So, be good to get you on again and maybe dive deeper into sort of certain areas of that as you progress through the year. But, one thing's for sure, it's clear that Andromeda is driving innovation in the Web3 space. So really appreciate your insights. For our listeners, to learn more, do visit Andromeda Protocol at andromedaprotocol.io or check out the white paper for detailed insights. Don't forget, as always, to like, share, and subscribe to the Web3 Insights for more conversations shaping the future of decentralization. Once again, Happy New Year. Thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in so far over the last 4 to 5 months and supported the podcast. Do like, share the content, comment, and your support is greatly appreciated. But man, once again, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Aaron. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.